Hello, welcome to another weekly live stream. Tonight we're going to try to finish up the container management stuff enough to get rid of the old inventory UI and use the new faster better one. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. There's my awesome superheroes and heroes and members of Patreon that help keep the lights on and help keep my Hetzner server running and so on. If you see them on the street, give them a hearty thank you, etc. Buy them a beer of their choosing. All right. How was everyone's weekend? Or week, rather. All right. So I made some progress last weekend on top of what we did last Friday, but things took me a lot longer than I expected. Some simple things took me longer, but we are to the point where the inventory at least looks similar. There were some tricks to making that happen, and took me like all of Sunday to get the little little hand icon to appear over the equipped item. Trying to do that in a way. The new system didn't want to make that easy, and I also was looking forward to the future where lots of things will need to know what we're holding on to. So I centralized that, and then oh yeah, there my nose is running. And so I centralized that and some other things. And I started working on, so one of the benefits of the new inventory is that it actually uses the same model loader as the game. The old inventory was hard-coded to only load block objects files, which very much limited the kind of inventory you could have. Like made this statue big. She's a big, tall statue now. So now I can do assemblies. So this is the old inventory. It couldn't load that assembly, so now I just have a question mark graphic that gets loaded. So there was a bunch of things I did. So this, for whatever reason, the size calculation for this is wrong, and so it calculates it too big and makes it too big in the inventory. So that's something I was working on right before the live stream, but haven't figured it out yet. And I think because the same is true for these character rigs, their size is all messed up. We've known that for a long time. Like, their center is at their feet, and they have like a huge sphere around them. And like, if I make this statue solid, I can't actually walk in front of it because the collision shapes are all messed up. And that's true of these too. Like, if I equip this object, I'll show you in a second. Let me show you now while we're talking about it. I don't know if I'll remember. So if I equip, so one of the things we're going to do tonight is hook up the menu stuff. So if I right click on things, that'll work. If I drag them, that'll work. Right now it's not really working. You see it's still in the same place. It hasn't sent a message to the server and so on. But so let me really quickly select the gun, and I'll show you one of the other problems it has. You see how I immediately start moving? That's because something is wrong with the mass and the collision shape. And so when I'm standing here, it's like interacting with the environment in a way. It's either making me lean forward because it's heavy, or it's and first of all, it's not in the right place, but that's something else. But see, it's even tripping me up as I walk. Like, the walking animation is kind of weird. So like, if you go into the character view, for some reason the collision shape of the gun I think is bigger than what it looks like here, and that's why it this is an assembly, and I wanted to make sure, like when we create them in the workbench, this is the kind of thing you create in the workbench, and I want to make sure we could hold those in our hand and have this in inventory, because a lot of the objects I make are assemblies these days because they've built in animation and so on. So this is my example, which was a gourd gun I created a long time ago, which lets me shoot. Oh, is it not working? Oh yeah, so it lets me, it's like a physics test. Oh yeah, so apparently it only let me click once. Or no, I have to click on, that's right. to click on blocks, not objects. So it was a way for me to test the physics engine sometime back because it just fires these little pumpkins. But anyway, it's assembly because I wanted to have that look, of the combined objects and stuff. Anyway, it's too big. I need to fix that. You can see the sizes have changed for some things. Like when I started calculating the sizes more accurately, this got smaller, so it takes up less space in the inventory. I like that. The sword always tried to take up 3 slots. I need to select something else or I'm going to keep walking. The sword always tried to take up 3 slots, but there was a way to override that in the objects, and I may have to put that back because I prefer the sword kind of taking 2 slots, but it wouldn't be horrible if it took 3 because it is kind of big. The axe takes the same amount of slots. The book takes a slightly, see, this is the old way, this is the new way. The book takes a slightly smaller amount of inventory, which I think is more appropriate, mostly because the volume calculation is more accurate because it takes the size of the blocks into account. So if they're thin like the front and the back of the book, it takes up less space. And that also happened for the dungeon one, which now only takes 2 slots instead of 6 slots. So on the whole, I like that. And this one is another one that got shrunk down a little bit. On the whole, I like that. I like that the wands can fit next to each other a little bit better. Of course, that didn't really move. So if I put it back where it was. So today what we're going to be doing is hooking up the new inventory so that like I can drag things and it actually drags them, and I can right click on them and it will bring up the thing. Because right now if I hover, it does that. It knows that it knows what the object is if I hover over it, but it doesn't let me click on it and stuff. So that's what we're going to be working on today. I really need to come up with like a solid wood texture for things like this. Or maybe I can convert that to leather too. So that's the other thing I did. Like the old inventory would always force everything to be carved, which doesn't make sense in some cases. Like if you could zoom in on the dungeon one, it doesn't make sense because the lantern texture gets all messed up. Some objects it doesn't work well for. Whereas the new inventory, it's because it's using the regular model loader. Some things can be carved and some things not. It actually pays attention to how the object is defined. And so for like this, the book was force carved here and is not carved here, so the texture looks a little bit more rich. And the same goes through for the backpack, because like this one has like the low quality texture for the backpack, and this one's using the higher res. It repeats more often, of course, but I think it looks a little better in this view. Perhaps worn it doesn't look as good, but I don't know actually, because I think we are always wearing the yeah, I think it looks okay because this is not a carved object, so that view, which we can't zoom in on, yes, that's the focus. So that view, which we can't zoom in on, is using I think the repeated texture instead of the carved texture. Anyway, I think that statue looks cool. I want to make one like twice as big as that just to see what it's like. There's always a neat effect when you put your head inside of something, because it... Oh, no, it didn't do it. Oh, yeah, so sometimes when you get your head inside of a wall, there it goes. It, like, turns the bloom way up because it thinks you're in the dark, right? Because, like, there is no light getting to your head, and so it turns the lighting way up. I think it looks kind of cool. Magical. Eventually, your head won't get to penetrate blocks like that. Anyway, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To simplify problems, I think I'm going to take that gourd gun out for now. Let me go ahead and disable that in the script. Standard tools. Yeah, let's go. Alright, so I was looking at the way the old code did it, which I eventually renamed to old, because it would in logs, I put old in the beginning because in logs it's easier to filter them out. So the old code, has this drag listener, and eventually when it gets dropped, it lets it drop, but then it calls a script on the container itself. It tells it, hey, this item's been dropped in you, and the container can decide whether that's valid or not. The new way is supposed to have more interaction with the scripts, so that you could have permissions to drop into a particular container, or like you could have containers that only allow certain types of things, that sort of thing. But for now, we're just trying to duplicate the existing behavior, and the new way, I think, has abstracted a lot of this out into a listener. So let me see. So container management state has like I believe that's where it is. Nope, it's on the item view state. Yeah, so it automatically, it has this item listener thing, which makes it easier to write scripts. Like when the item dropped, we can have a listener that that's responsible for calling the background script. The click, if it's a right click or a double click, we can do things with that. So that'd be the other thing, is a double click would be nice to automatically equip stuff, and we can make that happen here. All right. Yeah, and so this is where you could have like ingredients that you're allowed to combine, or if you have a small bag in your inventory and you drop something on it, that can be considered a combine also. So your target is like that small container, and your source is the thing you're dropping in it, and then some script could run in the background. But we have to find a good place to add this listener. Item listener is what we have to implement. So we have to find a good place to add that, and we have to start filling it in. And I made this configurable like this because we were developing that prototype. Probably this could all be hard-coded in here, in which case I can just hard-code a listener right in here, which may be what I do, except for this has almost none of the things it will need. I could look it up, though. So hold on a second, because I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Yes, I was about to sneeze. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what we can do is we can say, I'm going to keep the listener support. So we can say add item listener, new item listener. We'll make a make an inner class here, an anonymous inner class. But probably this should be separate. In fact, I'm going to make it separate now that I think about it. So let's call this the item listener adapter script item listener adapter. Yeah. Action. All right. Oops. I cut and paste it. So doink 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 doink. Now implements item listener. Doink. Doink doink doink. I work with a woman who, my day job, who uses sound effects in her everyday talking. It's kind of fun. So when we're on meetings, Zoom meetings and things, and she's typing things on the screen, she's got sound effects. All right, so that should do that, and then so over here we can add it, and we'll need to give it the things it needs. But this is where we'll say add item listener. Actually, we'll make it. We already have an item server. Oh, that's what forwards the things onto the. Wait a minute. Where are we adding that? Oh, are we just using it as a... Oh no, the item container view. Yeah, so that's our adapter. I got it. Yeah, so this we will... So... We want to make the action item listener adapter dispatcher. No, we don't want to create it there. We do want to create it down here because we're going to need to pass some things to it. Right now, no, we don't need to, but we will. So we add the item listener dispatcher, and item listener, and then in cleanup we want to remove it. We always be good citizens with our listeners, and so the action item listener adapter is going to need the game session. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say get state game session state.class true get game session, and I think that's what we'll need. And then over here, Mythruna net game session, and then make that a parameter to said constructor. Oops. Private doink doink start game session equals game session. And so then for item dropped, let me steal the thing from over here. So we had this on the item, which I don't know if I'm going to do this time. So that was on the item itself. And then the container view would call this and so our thing will be so we want to call game session run action. We're going to be running it on the target container. Oh. I think let me see what we did in the prototype, because I think the container is the section when it doesn't have any subsections. I think I was smart and did that. Okay, this one. Item dropped. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh, we get the root. We don't need the root. I think this will work. I guess we'll see. Target container section. Should have a get entity ID. Yep. Get entity ID. Oh wait, wanna say what? No, that's the entity ID. We're gonna say drop. Then we'll get the item ID. I think it's entity ID. Get entity. Yep, I was smart. So we drop entity ID and we'll make it slot.x, slot.y. And that should do it. But, you know, always things that can go wrong. Like not having all of the things imported that you need. It's also possible this is, I don't think it actually matters that it's not on the render thread. I think it's always on the render thread anyway. The other thing is we need some silica afd vec3i and I think that's it. Oh, that would be one of these. There we go. So I hope you all had a good week. I was slammed at work because I was trying to get a bunch of stuff done so that I could take this week off. So I'm off for Thanksgiving. And I have to like do some stuff on Monday and Tuesday, but like for an hour. But otherwise, I'm working on Mythruna all next week, other than family stuff. And I have a plan. So there's I think this weekend I'm going to try to sort out our bounding box, our bounding shapes issue with respect to assemblies, because right now some doors you can't walk through even when they're open because the collision shapes are wrong. And I have a feeling it's also a similar reason why you know, character rigs are also, their collision shapes are a little messed up when they're as static objects. I suspect it's a similar issue. So I'm gonna write a test using the scripter thing that we use to do some other testing. I think I'm gonna write a little thing that just uses the loader and loads objects and renders their bounding boxes and stuff so I can debug all that. It's probably what I will work on tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, YouTube said we had 3 concurrent viewers there for a second. And then I bored someone. Alright. So, in theory... Okay, so this is the old one. You can tell because it says help instead of it has a question mark. And the reason this one has a question mark is because some containers will have a bunch of buttons here, and I needed the space. So this is the new version. This is the old version. We should be able to drag things now, and it should move them. It did! Look at that! So we can move this up over, like here. Oink. Hey, check it out. It worked! Doors and collisions sounds tricky. Often bugs there in games. Yeah. I can show you specifically where the problem is. I don't have the assembly loaded here, but in the public server, I made, well, for one thing, my door that's tipped and does like that on my crooked house, you can't actually walk through it because even when the door's open and the entry's open, for whatever reason the collision shapes are messed up. And it's something related to assemblies. When they're regular doors and everything's vertical, it's all fine. Um, but not always. Like hinges that turn like this tend to work okay, but sliding hinges sometimes don't. I had put down in the crypt side, put a secret door, and I had to do some weird things to get it to even open. Like the door opens all the way, but then the opening is really narrow, and so I positioned it in such a way so that it looks like you're walking through it normally, but it's really kind of a glitchy thing. Okay, so that was it. I mean, we the drag and drop is working. So I got that set up, and it shouldn't let me drag out. Shouldn't let me drag over other stuff. It's it's red if I try to drag over other stuff. I can drag it back over myself. So all of that is covered. I can't drag it on top of other things. If I try to drag it out, it's going to put it back. Otherwise, I can move it. See, it's working. So I can put the book down here if I want to. Yeah, see, the new one is smaller. It's better. Okay, so cool. Now that we've got that working, now I need to get the right-click stuff working. So I have to remember how to do that. I think that's similar. Just hook up the script kind of situation. Howdy frickin' do? Hey, Ron. That's quite an entrance. I appreciate that. All right, so man, I like that statue. I want to make it. I want to see what a big one looks like. So I'm gonna make actually a gianter statue. So I'm gonna sidetrack one real quick second. I'm not gonna load the game. I just want to change the script so that when I do load the game, I can have an even gianter statue. So real quick, gianter, super gianter. So let's search for gianter. Gianter statue. We'll have a super gianter statue. Is that I put a dash right? Okay. The statue does look great. Wish I could steal it. Hey, have you logged into the server and looked at Godon's gargoyles? They're cool because if you click on them, their heads look down at you. It's kind of cool. I'm really sad that he's unable to get into the game right now because he was making some really cool stuff. And I did steal that object. That's an assembly, and I copied it because I thought that was really cool. So let's make a 4 times bigger one. So next time I load the game, I can make a 4-story or statue. All right, so let's go and see what right-click used to do. Click handler. So we figured out which slot we clicked on and run item actions. That's what we did. So that's all we did. So first of all, we want to check and see. We're going to do different things for different buttons. So let me see. We made sure. Yeah, context button. Yeah, so we'll keep that. We'll make that up here. Maybe it gets configurable someday. So if button equals context button, and if end count equals 1. So that way we can have like a double right click for something. Then we want to do the equivalent of what we did up here, but we're going to run on the container. We're going to run item actions, and we're going to use the item entity ID and the slot. Oh, no, 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 no. We just passed the item entity ID. The slot we don't need for this particular thing. Okay, so that should have made click work. And I think if that makes click work, then I can just turn off the old inventory. Okay, so real quick, like I may have to log into. I can't log into the server with this client. I'd have to use a different client. I wanted to show you the stuff that Godon had made. If there's time, I'll log in with the one of the downloaded clients that I have. This one requires some backend stuff to be implemented that's not on the server that's public right now. Come on. Do. So do any of my American viewers have any cool plans for Thanksgiving? I feel like I should do a special Black Friday live stream or something. I don't know what we would do for that. I think I'll be working on AI. Hopefully. Okay. So we've got that statue. Alright, so let's see if right click works on the new inventory. Okay, so this is the old inventory here. And this is the new inventory. I'm going to right click on this guy. Okay. So there's a hookup problem. But other than that, it's actually working. It's just using the wrong location. So something is providing. I'm seeing some family I haven't seen in over a year for feast day. What about you? It's just going to be my family and I, and one of my kids is, well, you know, my kids still live here, even though they're adults. And one of them works that day, so we're going to like do. A lot of times we eat all day, so we have like some breakfast, like monkey bread and cinnamon rolls and things we make in the morning, and then have snacks, and then the big feast at 5 or 6 or whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the breakfasty things and snacky things on the day, and then on Friday is where we're actually going to do the dinner. Yeah, so on Friday night, assuming I do a live stream, on Friday night I may be in like turkey coma, borderline turkey coma. Alright, so now I need to remember how I hooked up the, how this knows where to put, if there's something registered with the, so when these pop up, the server, like even when I click, like when I right click on an object like this, the server is using the sort of general request handler. It's the same thing that pops up dialogues, the same thing that pops up the default action if I hover over something. Yeah, I can't talk to the statue, but the game thinks it's an NPC. So it just basically tells the UI, hey, the user wants to do this thing, and so like right click, hey, the user wants to pop up actions for this entity, and then something in that user request handler knows where to find that particular entity on the screen, and for the inventory, it's just getting confused somehow, so it's still seeing the old one. And so I think there's some adapter I have to let the user request handler know, here's how you find inventory items, and just switch it over to the new one. And then I can get rid of this old one. At that point, the new one is, I need to fix the help too, the pop-up. And maybe I'll make that a text thing. And we could talk about that a little bit, because it could be useful for mods to know what the text DB stuff. Eventually, like that's going to be where you can read the books too. Right now, you can't read the books, but I'm going to end up dropping a lot of lore in books. One of the reasons I haven't built out the website's lore section is because I'm trying to decide how much I want to save for in-game books and things to explain the backstory of the world and so you can just find little bits of that around if you care to read about it. Okay, so that's all working. And I've got, let me equip the test one, and we'll make a big old statue out in the, and let's see, I'm running the, since I'm running this, okay, let's see what a big, giant, super giant or random humanoid statue looks like. Boink. That's cool. Now, I mean, the only problem with these, you can't drag them, and so they are where they are. But it almost fits on a single block. Oh, no, I guess that's 2 blocks. That's about right. Okay, so let me delete him. Delete him, and we'll make a... I'm just goofing around for a second now that this is hooked up. So that's the other thing is... the new inventory remembers where you put it. So if I drag this new one up here, and when I come back, it'll just stay up there. Whereas this one's always reset to the same location. So that's another thing that's better about the new one. All right, so let's make a... oh yeah, let's do dark granite. I mean, we don't use that very often. Okay, that's a nice pedestal for a statue. Okay, and now we've got our super giant or statue. Twink. Let's look at compare it in size. So let's zoom out a little more. So that's cool. You could imagine like a city street or something that's got like a whole bunch of these, memorial statues or something for some fallen soldiers or something. And I don't know. It's kind of cool. I mean, the only issue is that it's not solid, right? So right now, I can't walk. The problem with the rigs is they're not, for one thing, even if I made it solid, there's not a whole lot for me to stand on. And we already have discovered that scaling these messes with their things. But I think I can... No, I've turned that specifically off for character rigs, which is what this thinks it is. Because it's just kind of a hack I did really quick to see. I wonder what that giant thing would look like in here. I think it would take up too much space. Anyway, so even if I made it solid, like, there's only some parts of this that are actually a collision shape, so that's something I would have to fix to have cool statues like this. Anyway, so that's kind of fun. Yeah, it's pretty centered. I think I got it a little off, but that's okay. All right, so we've got some... I keep miscounting. Okay. So we've got some stuff to do. I like this library. But see, I need books now. I need like tons and tons of books that you could go through. And I need so many books that you wouldn't read them all, right? Like you could read them. I need so many books that you could read them all, but you won't read them all, kind of thing, right? So to find the book, you'd have to like use real life tactics to find the book. You'd talk to the librarian, and they tell you what shelf it's on, because it would just take you forever to go through all the books, kind of situation. So I eventually need to create all kinds of lore that's just boring things, which would be kind of fun. Okay. So let's figure out, can you give the statue a pose or make it hold a torch at a harbor entrance? I mean, technically all things are possible. Right now, with the scripting interface I have, I cannot do that. Well, I don't remember if I think the animation times are transient components right now, so they don't get stored. So I would have to add a new way to store sort of which animation and which pose time was set, so that when the object spawned in, it would know which animation to forward to. It's not impossible. It's just the data is not there to do it. So that would be something I'd have to add. But that's what I do want to do, because I would really like to be able to pose them. But yeah, holding torches, or even like if you can imagine a bunch of soldiers along a hall, statues, holding their swords out, like to make a kind of, a vault, V, upside down V of swords. That would just be cool, and especially if they came to life and attacked you. Um, but even just the look of it would be kind of cool. All right, so let's figure out how the old one knew where to put the... So the flyover stuff's all working. We have a location function. What is that used for? Yeah, that's what it is. And even the flyover function. So I must have ported the flyover function, but not the location function. Let me look at the new stuff, because we definitely do get the pop-ups. So what I'm looking for, flyover state. Fly. Nope, not there. No, how does it do it? How does it work? Is it the item container view, maybe? Can't be. How does it know? That's fascinating. Wow. Yes, the old container view state did a bunch of management of the hits, but now it doesn't need to for some reason. I wonder if that's because the model view state already interacts. All right, let's see how the user... Let's look into the user request state a little bit. That's what is the user prompt state. That's what I mean. So when we get a pop-up that says update prompt, so one of the prompt types is list. Yeah, that's the default, in fact. So where's the open prompt? I think down here somewhere. So let's see. Show prompt. Oh, so just do update prompt. Okay. Update prompt. We go through all the prompt listeners. Otherwise, we open the prompt, we update the prompt. Okay, so update prompt, update options. How does it decide where to stick the things? Create context menu. Where does it set the location? Attach. Show pop-up. We don't say where. Reset position. So if it's a list, we call the location function. Otherwise, Oh, because we already did have a location function. Otherwise, it shows it in the middle. But why does the flyover work? That's what I want to know. Reset position. All right. There's only one location function at a time. And that basically translates an entity ID to a location on screen. And if it's not there, it just puts it in the middle somewhere. But then how does the flyover work? Okay, so I'm going to have to do a little debugging. First of all, I think if I get rid of, I think if we're like to the point where I can disable the old inventory. So I can disable this. In which case it won't register the other one. That's interesting. Let me just make sure old is all done. Oh yeah, that's right. There's the other. I have to disable the enabling and disabling. Okay, so this is why we carefully manage the order that they are enabled. I couldn't figure out we attached the user prompt state later, and I couldn't figure out how the old container view state could find the user prompt state. It's because it waits. It doesn't exist yet, when this is added. Okay. And so then I want to see prompt listener. Log info Kilroy L show prompt swallowed by L. Show prompt. We'll just add the prompt text here so we know what that is. And down here, if it's just type message, oh yeah, we add the message. If prompt text equals null and type equals dialog, closing an open dialog. Otherwise, we're updating the prompt. And that's okay. And if it's just text, how did it decide where to put the prompt label? For option lists, oh, what's the flyover then? I think that, I think I know. I think that yes, so I'm going to leave this, but I don't think I need it. I think that the mouse, the cursor stuff, the thing that's letting us click on things in the main world gobbles that up. And normally. But that doesn't make any sense either. Yeah, so right. So we have a prompt listener here. Maybe I should look up the prompt listeners. Okay, so the journal has one. User prompt state, activation input state. All right, I'm going to run because I'm trying to figure out how the flyover knew where to be. And yeah, I don't know. Josh. It's like when one thing of code works and another thing doesn't, but they're both using the same mechanism, and so you're like, why is one working and one not? Oh. I think that's not actually asking the backend. I think that's just a client-side thing. That's not a user prompt thing at all. The flyover, I think that is special. Hmm. Hmm. I'm baffled. It's like in my day job with the large code base, you like post on Slack or something when you have a question about how did this used to work and so on and so forth, and hope that somebody has some remembered institutional knowledge. I'm the only one with the institutional knowledge here. Okay, so if I hover over this, oh, interesting. Now it's not working. So it was the other. It was the other. I know what happened. I know what happened. Okay, so now it will pop these up in the middle because it doesn't know where to put them. Okay, I know why the other worked. So, the other old UI just registered a general listener that anything you hovered over, if it was a JMonkey Engine spatial, it would look up its ID and then look up its name, and it would show that. And so when we disabled the other one, that's not showing up. But that's why they were in the right location, because it already knew where they should be, because the mouse was already there. It was using the mouse location. That's why that's not working now. So I'm not going crazy. It's just that other flyover listener was generic enough that it would work anywhere in the UI, which is kind of cool because it means I can just cut and paste it. But that also means I'm not crazy. It's yeah. So this is in here. Yeah, this guy. So let's find him. Yeah, so he takes the position on the screen and the collision results. Oh yeah, so yeah, collision on the screen, he just picks from the screen if he gets a spatial. Yeah, so this is super generic. It doesn't even know what it's hovering over. Yeah, and if the hit spatial has an object name, because we've already tucked that away in the user data. Yeah, so this will work on any spatial we've added a name for. That's kind of cool. Maybe it shouldn't be tucked away in inventory like this, but more generally available. But anyway, let's move it over to I've got too many things here. That's where we want it, I do believe. We'll say I'm going to add a comment now. Generic flyover function that will work for any on-screen spatial that has an object name It has an object name, user data set, or, yeah, this is what was really happening. Or the, oh, see, this part's not going to work anymore. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. We could expand it. We're going to need to pull in a lot of stuff. I am actually going to... no, this is... we're going to end up pulling in a lot of other dependencies, which is unfortunate. So this will still work. This will still work. We're going to have to pull in a bunch of imports and things. Okay, so we're going to want get entity spatial, get entity ID. We're going to need those from the other code. Get entity spatial. Yeah, these two things. Okay, so this is, yeah, these are the things I was looking for. All right. And we'll put them in here. Because I'm trying to make this self-contained because I'd like to extract it out into a general utility at some point. So if it, or it has an void set and the object name can be looked up through normal components. I think we'll try to keep this functionality, although we don't have the... Alright, because I think that's why it was working. Okay, so that is there. We didn't find anything, we just return. We can't do this anymore. And so we can't improve it, which is fine. Container is not equal to null. No, if hit spatial, we should have already gotten a hit spatial. No cache, yeah, so this is, we warn, because we would prefer not to do it this way. Yeah, okay. And so we're going to need, what are we going to need? We're going to need GUI state. We're going to need some collision related things. Yep. Alright, let's see what we're missing. Java util function. Okie dokie. Vector, okay, so we need JMonkey engine math. And we need the Mythruna and the system stuff. I think that should be it. Oh yeah, we won't have the entity data. So let's try to make this a little more self-contained. where we create this. Oh, we don't add it yet, so that's the other thing we have to do. Where do I add it and remove it? Here. Ooh. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna have to do this in a different place. We do it in on enable, yeah, okay. So we'll do it during init, we'll create it. And then in on enable, in here, we shall add it. And in here, we shall remove it. And then in here, we shall create it. Fly over. Yep, we haven't. Flyover function, is that what I called it? With a capital O. Yeah, because it's a hyphenation. Flyover. I guess I call it what I want now. Flyover function. And so then initialize equals new flyover function get state get entity data, I believe. And flyover function. So this should make it work again if it compiles. We dir source main Java flyover state.java/s. It's in the UI. Okay. Fly over state. Which state do you want to fly over? So what kind of classic dishes do people have for Thanksgiving who celebrate? What's your, I mean, there's turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. Those are pretty common. Do you guys have any special foods that are kind of out of the ordinary? Here at the Speed household, we sort of have kind of settled on the standard stuff. We don't do anything weird, I think. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes. We call it squishy carrots. You know, carrots that are cooked so much they're soft. My wife makes a green bean casserole, but I guess that's pretty standard. And it kind of depends on if she's really the only one in the family that eats it, so it's kind of just depends on how much work she wants to put in. Okie dokie. Was I checking again? Oh yes, inventory. So we come in here. If I hover over something, yay! Check it out. Whee! X book. Yeah, I am getting a warn. No. Yeah, no cached object name. So we should probably fix that, but it's working. Yeah, and we're also doing that on the main thread, so that's not great. But we could actually save these things as we find them too, so that it would get faster. Anyway, so now I know how to get the. I know how to make that work too. So cool, we're almost there. We've almost completely replaced the old functionality. And so we need to set a location function on enable. And then when we remove, when we stop, clear location function. Yeah, see, I'm smart. What I mean by that, so when you set a property on an object, like in this case, when the UI for the container is enabled, we look up this object and we set the location function on that, which basically tells our user prompt service how to find objects that we click on, so that when a prompt comes up for that object, it knows where to put it on the screen. Now on disable, I could have just set location to null to clear that out. But the problem is I don't know if some other service has set its own location function after I set mine. And if I just cleared it by setting null, that would wipe out some other service's state. So I do a clear location function where I pass the old one that I passed in. And so it'll only clear it if it's the same one that I gave it before. So if somebody else has set something new that overrode mine, I don't clear it. So it's just a useful pattern. Instead of setting null, you're basically having this clear function that you take the old value and only clear it if it's the same. And so then we need to create a location function. Function. Retribution. I don't even know how many of you are old enough to get that reference, but Adam Sandler used to do a Cajun Man on Saturday Night Live. And basically his whole bit was that he just the shawns, he just stretched that out and used a lot of those words. Location, function. Yes, that is what passed for comedy. You didn't get the reference, yeah, so now you do. Adam Sandler, Cajun Man. You look it up on Saturday Night Live, or look it up on YouTube for Saturday Night Live, Adam Sandler, Cajun Man. That is what passed for humor back in the day. Okay, so this is the tricky part. From the entity ID, we could just return the mouse position. There's a lot to be said for that. But let's item view. Can I find an item view? It's going to be a useful capability to have, and it is just a node, so we're good there. So let's do a general thing, public item view, find item view, entity ID. Okay, so we will go through any of our containers. For container, it's view index. My brain is like slowly liquefying in my head. It's been a long week, so I had to do every 6 months we do these employee check-ins, and I've still got direct reports at work, even though most of them don't actually work with me. And so then I had to like solicit feedback from other people, compile all that together, and then meet with everybody. And I met with everybody all day yesterday, so like 6 meetings, and then put all that information in today. And so I'm like free and clear, but my brain is well and truly fried from all of that because it's not my favorite thing to do. All right, so in an item container view, we want to be able to see if it has the child we seek. Do you have the child we seek? And how we would do that is, I think we ask item container. Boink, 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 boink. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. So that's never mind. I thought in here we'd had a manager. The manager is elsewhere, and we're just using that. So I think we're going to have to, like, search again. No. I just want to steal this. All right, and so then over here we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Item view found equals container dot find item view entity ID, and if we found it, return found. Man, I get really used to the truthiness of Groovy where I can just say if found, return. Return null. We didn't find it. Okay, so then over here, I think I need to do a similar thing to go through all of these container section views. I think I can cut and paste the code. Stream frozen? Had to reload. Yeah, it's fine for me, I think. This seems to still say it's working. Just says the bit rate is low. Let me see how long it takes to catch up. Oh yeah, it's still cut and pasting my old stuff. That's really freaky. That's me in the past. There we go. So it caught up to me. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. So in this case, view index values is going to be container section view. And say section. Okay. And so then we'll have to look at container section view. And we shall add similar method here. And so this should actually have a list of item index. Yeah, so we should be able to just here, what do we call it? Item entry. Item entry result equals item index get entity ID. We only have one per entity ID in here. But did I get that right? Item index, item entry, and then item entry would have the view. Okay. So return result equals null. Return null. Otherwise, return result view. Yay. Now, we're not actually using this yet. That we will need to do. Down here in the location function. So we want to say item view, find item view, ID, view equals, whoops. If view equals null, just return the mouse position. Otherwise, return the local translation of the thing. Let me fix my parentheses. Did anybody else lose the feed for any amount of time? Let me see. Is it working now? Alright, so item view state 111. Helps to spell it right. Cool. That means I cut and paste it. So yes, it's very important if you're going to make a typo to cut and paste it a couple times before you notice. Funny thing is entity, entity. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we need to item view state. User prompt state. Nerp. Nerp. Maybe if we get this done early, I'll set up my prototype for testing the collision shapes. That'll be even a little more interactive than what we got going on here. Okay, so it stuttered last time you loaded the game, but all visuals audio is running smooth. Only I can answer your question here before you even asked it on the Steam. Yes. Yeah, this chat's faster. I find that really frustrating. And I don't know if it'd be better on Twitch or something. Not Twitch. Yeah, Twitch. I assume, but again, so this is fun. Again, we've got stream errors. Okay. So I should be able to right click on the book even down here, and yeah, cool. So see, no matter where I click on the book, it's no, yeah. It's supposed to center itself over the object. So if I right click it, yeah, so cool. So I equip the sword. I equip the axe. There's an argument to be made that I should be using the mouse coordinate. Pretty cool. All right. So every bit of functionality is working. I got to remove the shadows. So those are like visual glitches, and I need to re-enable the help so that it automatically pops up, and so that it's basically enabled at all. So maybe we'll work on that real quick, because I really would like to have this like done. Let me remove the shadow casting when the models load. I think that's straightforward. Since those are real in-game objects, they have like shadow casting enabled, and we want to just turn that off in the inventory because it creates these weird boxes for different rotations. So then we set model. We want to do special things. Reset model. Yeah, so here where we're setting the cull hint, I think I want to make sure. So we want to say model, and we'll look at the JMonkey Engine documentation. I think we want depth first search, depth first traversal. Depth first traversal, boink, boink. New scene graph visitor adapter, I believe. Oh, there we go. Let's just double check. Yep, and I make sure to import that right there. It's already being imported, so we're good. Where do we go? There we go. Okay, so in here we want to override. Actually, we don't need that. We want to do this for every spatial. So scene graph visitor. And then we just override this guy. And gonna log first. Yeah, I've got that Kilroy thing that I need to get rid of. I forget where I put it now. User prompt state. Right. While I'm thinking about it, yeah, let's get rid of this. All right, back over here. So log info, Kilroy, spatial, shadow. What is the? I think it's like a. Yeah, I can't. There we go. Shadow mode. Set local. Set. So get local shadow mode. Set local or set shadow mode. Okay. So get shadow mode. I just want to confirm that spatial set shadow mode. Shadow mode off. If spatial that get shadow mode is not equal to shadow mode inherit, then set it to inherit. Let's go and import this up here. QRS. I think that should do it. Let us see. I'm going to kill the stream again. Why it no like that? Set shadow mode. Did I spell it wrong? I did. Shadow mode. Shadow mode. There we go. The best typos are the ones that hide themselves, make them look like real words. Do. Oh. Some other thing crashed? That's not good. Is this me? Close the program. It is me. Neat. Nice. Did it leave a crash dump? It didn't. Didn't even leave a crash dump. Wow, neat. Oh boy. Java doesn't want to run anymore. Is the stream still working? That's neat. But we didn't do anything. Memory's a little eh. Let me clear up some things that I don't care about. And then kill any big browsers. Wink. Yeah, stream is on good. Give myself some more memory here. But that's weird that Java just crashes before it even runs my game. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Restore this tab. Okay. So apparently this was using a lot of RAM here. Okay, so that's still working. Oh yeah, I killed my stream view. We'll get it back. So, alright. So YouTube's a little happier. Yes, I don't want to kill Firefox completely. But it's probably safe to get rid of this one, maybe. Okay, so that was my Discord. Alright, let's see if Java will run at all if I do like java-version. It will. Okay, so maybe it just needed to finish shutting down. We'll see. No. Just connect, just Gradle itself. Just kill any, yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. That's a first. So Gradle itself is not working. Ooh. So we might have reached the end of what I can do on the stream without rebooting the system. That's bizarre. Let me... this has been popping up. Let me close this. Maybe it'll help. No, I don't want to update. Let's close this. Cancel. Yes. No updates for you. But that's bizarre. I have never had this happen before. It is crashing in the... yeah, NTDLL, so deep in the system. So I probably need to reboot. I was going to say what I could do is, let's see if it's just a Gradle thing or a Java thing. Because I was talking about logging into the game, the public server. But let's see if these will even run. I already did. Like, there's nothing. There's no Java processes running, and like there are no Java processes running. So it's something in the state of Windows itself that's upset. So Windows has self-corrupted. I wonder Yeah, see, these are SVC host. It's in that NTDLL, which I think is a Windows system file. That's bizarre. Anyway, let's see. So let's see if I can run another Java process. So we'll see. Does this work? Run. Okay. So this works. It's Gradle that's unhappy. Alright. So this seems to be working. So we can join the public server. And I can show you the cool stuff that user Godon made. He's Harbinger in the game. So at least we can do something for the next few minutes. And I can show you my church I made. By the way, I have not shut down any of the things. Oh, so like now the public server needs to be reset too, I bet. Neat. Yeah, I mean, it still thinks it's working. There's something wrong on the Hetzner server for whatever reason. Every now and then it will stop receiving connections. Like I can still connect to it through SSH. You know, not the Hetzner server, but like Mythruna, this public server, I can still connect through SSH. I can still run commands. You know, no problem with garbage collection, none of that stuff. It's just for whatever reason it stops accepting network connections. So that's something I have to figure out. But anyway, that was encouraging to know that this runs. And so we'll walk around in there a little bit. I mean, we got all the inventory stuff working. That's fun anyway. The help is kind of boring. So join multiplayer. Go to there. Connect. Should just connect now. Yep. Star, 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 star. I still like the idea of the guy who's always used asterisks as his password. And doesn't know that that's obfuscating his password for him. Okay. Where am I? Why am I here? Who did I log in as? Oh, I logged in as I must have logged in as what's her name from Dragon Prince instead of Fade. Alright, well, we can get there. Excuse me. Halloween Town. Let's go. Yeah, you can hear the fire crackling to my right there. There it is. We wait for this to load. Oh, my wonder if I've got my clip set really far. Nope. It's just a little slow today. It's getting there. There we go. I can see the mountain now, so we're getting there. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oops. Alright, let's go down in here. Down into the crypt. I have still left all the things. I haven't turned it off yet. fact, maybe I will now. So we'll turn the costume collection off for this year. I really liked this trophy though. So I guess we had 1, 2, 3, 4 people partake of the costume capture. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I think I have to use my... Oh yeah, slow inventory, right? This is the thing I'm working on. I think if I equip this, it's what lets me delete it. No. Maybe I never created the ability to delete it. Delete object, okay. Bye-bye. Oh no, it won't let me delete. I'm not the creator, maybe? Ah, this character's not an admin. Oh, so I can capture myself. Take a snapshot. Blink. Yes. Rayla. That's who I logged in as. Rayla. Oh, we got Rayla. Cool, right here. Nice. Okay. Let me. I won't be able to run time forward either. It's okay. It's almost daytime. Yeah. So I'm not admin. Oh no, it will let me. That must be a player. Yeah. So that's an account-related thing versus a character-related thing. Okay. Boink. Alright, so we can come out of this little thing here. Let me run time forward a little bit more. There we go. So where did... This is the church I made. It's got a cool little symbol here. Some kind of symbol. I want to come back and add... I haven't really finished it yet. I want to come back and add pews. There's where like the rituals would happen, and you've got like a place where the priest could have like an office back here, or whatever, little library of stuff, little hidey hole, and then there's stairs running up where he could have a bedroom, and his bedroom can oversee the church, or whatever. But let me find Godon's house because I think it's really cool what he's done. Where did his house go? I think this is Oak's house. Oh, so it's right across the street from Oak's house. Or Ron. This is pretty cool too. It's fun to wander around. I think I can't remember if I copied a bunch of any objects from there or not. So that is Ron's house, right? Oak Storm. Yep. So I should be able to visit. Yeah, visit. There, you got another visit. I should be able to take some candy too. So now in my inventory, I have my candy bucket. 1 piece of candy. Alright, so let's go over to Godon's house. I want to show these gargoyles. They're really cool. They definitely took some time. Yeah. I need to finish going back and putting the lampposts and stuff in. Okay, so this is the back door. It's got a gate. It's a pretty cool gate, actually. I'm gonna steal the gate too. Oh, I don't have the right. I need to do it with my correct character anyway. Yeah, so check these out. It's worth coming and looking at them in person. Little gargoyles. Can I place blocks here? I think that I have to be the owner of the town. Oh, I can place blocks. Cool. I don't know how that works. Maybe because I'm admin. Alright, so we've got, yeah, these little guys, and if you click on them, they like look their head down. I think it's cool. So that's pretty neat. It means I can like copy it let me pick my object tool. So if you didn't know this, if you have your object tool selected, you can right click on any of these kinds of objects and you can say the copy the design. And since this was a assembly, you'll get like the head and the body as separate blueprints in your blueprint, and then in the workbench you'll have like a gargoyle that you can actually open and take a look at. So that's what his cool gargoyle looks like. Yeah, that's pretty neat actually. I love this kind of stuff. And so then if we, so he has the head move stuff, which I think is neat that he figured that out. So yeah, we got the close open. Boink. It'd be cool if like the wings unfolded as well, but this is already pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, I like it. No, I don't want to save it. Yeah, so that's, and I think he's got some cool stuff in here too, as I recall. Let me go ahead and take some candy from his bowl. I need to go back and turn these things off, but oh yeah, we're really lagging here a little bit because there's a boundary here. Let me visit too. Increase the visit count. I can't remember what he put inside. Oh, he's got a little doormat. Oh yeah, use the adobe brick for the, not the adobe, the clay brick. Okay, so we've got stairs on the front, stairs in the back. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that he's been having trouble connecting because sometimes it like blocks UDP traffic for some reason. You made any mob shapes yet? Have I made any mob shapes yet? What do you mean? I want to make sure I answer the right question. Doink. Boink, boink, boink. Okay, so he was in the middle of building like a second floor when he stopped. So his problem is that something about his system is preventing UDP traffic. So he logs into the game and he's just under the world, and it like even with the debug HUD up, it doesn't show a position because the position networking and stuff isn't working. So I've like, we're gonna see if turning off the firewall or something fixes it. But like somehow he had managed to get it to work for a while and was in here and did all this cool stuff. And then now, yeah, look at these fences; they're pretty cool too. And now he's unable to get in, which is unfortunate because he got lots of stuff to finish. Oh, so no, I haven't done any more. Get rid of this. I want to. But I think, as you suggested, I think the first bad guys are going to be like bandits or something that can just be reskins of the elf and the humans that I have already. Just to get the AI working and stuff. And then I really want to get the rhino bears working. So there's like a creature that's going to be like a big bear with a horn on its nose, kind of like a rhinoceros. Because that's going to be one of the rideable creatures. I would say Mythruna is hung now. Yeah, so I did log in as Rayla. Yeah, so this is hung. I don't know if it's going to come back. But yeah, so I think the next creature, I can't remember what they're called. Rhino bears is I think what I've called them, but I'm probably going to come up with a better name for that. Right, yeah, so yeah, they're one of the, so when eventually the Pantherian people, which are like the cat people, they're the ones who first learned to tame and ride those, but mostly, yeah, you don't want to mess with them. But rhino bear, yeah, mostly you don't want to mess with them, but they are one of the rideable animals, and so I want to get them implemented so that I can work on that kind of rideability. Yeah, so this is, the client has hung for some reason, and probably I can't see why. You know, we even got the, yeah, so close the program. That's fine. We're essentially, my system is trying to eat itself, I guess. Before I reboot, though, I'm going to commit all of our progress just in case it's a, it really is eating itself. But I think that might be where I end it. We're pretty. We're gonna end a little early tonight, I guess. Does anybody have any questions? Last minute questions. I can like short circuit a little bit. Last minute questions for me. We got 6 people on. Yeah, so this is just so weird that Gradle stopped working. Yeah. I hope it's something that just gets fixed in a reboot. It's very bizarre. So yeah, hopefully next week we can start working on AI related things again. We'll see. Plan to try to do a lot of work this week. And with that, we will go ahead and say thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends if you think they would be interested in this. Because you know, I seem to gain about 1 subscriber a week. At that rate, I ought to hit 1,000 in another year or so. Why aren't the patrons loading? There we go. Just took it a minute. No, it's not. There it goes. All right. Anyway, thank the patrons. I will see you guys next time, or on Discord if you guys are on Discord. I'll catch you later. Thanks a lot.